welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So today is our 100th episode. And so today we're going to be talking about celebrating milestones, especially on a cancer journey when often we don't give ourselves the opportunity to do that. So before we do that, let's get grounded and do our PESH. Sherry Ann, why don't you start?
Okay. Physically 4, emotionally 4.3, spirit 4.5, hope 4.6, and my word is possibility.
Okay, physically I am a 4.25. Emotionally, I am a 4.6. Spirit is a 4.4, and hope is a 4.35. And my word is raspy. I'm fine, I'm just raspy.
It's a new voice for Alicia.
Yes, it is.
Maybe in more ways than one. Okay, let's talk about milestones on a cancer journey. So when we say the word milestone, what comes up for you?
For me, milestone is something that it's a marker. It's something that has changed or something that feels whole. You know, when everything kind of feels like it's just going, maybe you feel like you're on the treadmill or the hamster wheel. It's like something that gives you a marker of like, okay, this is where we've landed and we're going to keep going, obviously, but this is a recognition of how far we've come or something new is starting. Or I think the largeness of it depends on, it depends on what you really want or how you really feel. Because, let's say someone's running a marathon and the marker or the milestone is like 10 miles and the next however many miles, but each milestone is an indicator for you of just how far you've come.
Yeah. And I think that for me, when we talk about milestones in general, it feels like they're big markers, like you said. But I want to come back to the cancer journey where like a day of getting up and feeling pretty good is a milestone, especially when you're on the journey of treatment. There's the treatment and you feel and then you feel crappy, and then you feel really crappy, and then all of a sudden you you start feeling better, and it's like, oh, I can stay awake for longer. I can actually move. I can actually, oh, I can take a shower. I mean, it's like little milestones like that that are not to be ignored. Where I'm going, it's like, how do we? And kind of looking at this in the vein of celebration. How do we celebrate each day? I know that Oprah does this whole gratitude list, and she's like, at the end of every day, you should do a gratitude list. I have never been successful at doing that for more than a day or two. But to to give yourself the opportunity of either in the morning after a nice rest to say, okay, so how am I feeling today? And assessing and then kind of welcoming the milestone of today's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'm also getting from what you're saying is that a milestone isn't necessarily something that you push for or something that you have to feel that you have to achieve. It's really, um, it's something that's coming regardless of your efforting. It's coming for you and it's here. And sometimes it shows up and you're like, a surprise. It doesn't have to be like, okay, I'm just starting, but I can't wait for that next milestone. It's really those moments and however you choose to celebrate. And I think for me too, with this gratitude list, sometimes it comes so much weight with that, so much of a have to, of like, okay, I have to write down what I'm grateful for. And I also have to be grateful. Like, I think that gratitude is kind of baked in at times. Sometimes we don't always acknowledge it, but we don't really need to be like, okay, I have to be grateful and I have to write down what I'm grateful for. I think there's a lot of striving and a lot of energy that you may not have to do that. So when I think of like the celebration of a milestone, it's like it's so personal and it gets to be in little ways. And so I understand the gratitude thing and wanting to like make it a thing for yourself, but the celebrating of a milestone, it can be that big, or it can be bigger, or it can be smaller. It's
Hmm.
really the intention of acknowledging for yourself and being conscious and aware that this is something important and that this is something that, like, I'm really proud of myself for. And it doesn't need to be a big hoopla. It gets to be like a little like, yay. Even if, because sometimes you don't have the energy to be like, hey, I did it, And sometimes it doesn't feel that big, but we say all this too because oftentimes, not just on a cancer journey, but often on a cancer journey, we let those moments go by.
Hmm.
We're just like, yeah, another one in the basket. And it's just like, it doesn't have to be. And you get to celebrate this big achievement for yourself because this is not an easy experience.
Absolutely, especially when you're on a treatment journey. So it's like, okay, I've got X amount of treatments. And at the beginning, it feels so daunting because there's so many. But each time you're finished with one, you're closer to the end of that particular journey. Now, you're always hoping that it's all working out just as it is because it's happening inside your body. But I mean, kind of like what you said of it's going to happen, and there's something about being committed and perseverance. I think that's when people say, "Oh, you're so strong," is that you persevere and you commit to something, like we committed to this podcast, and it's like, wow, we're at 100 episodes, which is almost 2 years, which is amazing to me that we have diligently and committedly said yes to this. And I think that's really what's coming up for me, kind of like a little aha. Is like I said yes. So when I say yes, what comes with that? That commitment, that promise to myself, the hope that's there. That's yes, this is going to take me to the next place.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, what you're touching on too is like we say this often, maybe not on this podcast, but even just for ourselves, like we're not very good at consistency, and that's not just us. Like I feel like universally, it's really hard to stay committed and consistent and show up time and time again, regardless of what the specific situation we're talking about is, right? And sometimes it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna show up, I have to show up, but still, you did it. You showed up every time. You said yes, and you, like, over the span of time, you were able to continue to do this thing for yourself, and you can be reliable on yourself. It's so much easier when you have other people in the picture because when you rely on someone else, it's your accountability buddy, right? Like they're there along with you. But when it's just you and you've made this choice to, yes, show up for treatments, but show up and really, really do it and be present with it, or show up and not be present. There's so much to celebrate there for yourself. I mean, I know I'm really proud of us for doing this 100 episodes. Like, that is crazy. And it's definitely not something that we were like, when we're starting the Cancer Journey Institute, we're going to have a podcast. It was definitely something that we started because we wanted to share more of what we bring to the cancer community without feeling like you have to join a program or pay for coaching or any of that, because we know that it's more important to get an experience of us before really understanding what we do. And I think that it's hard when you're looking at any brand or company or business that you're interested in kind of accessing their services. It's like, well, what am I getting into? And sometimes you don't know until you sign on. And that becomes the hardest part because not everyone's great with that, like, trial and error. It's really easy to feel like you failed when something didn't work, or that there needs to be some like hard breakup situation when something didn't work, rather than this, okay, I tried it, wasn't for me. Even before that point, we're wanting to give people an experience of us and what we bring and how we're trying to change the way cancer is navigated and be a resource for people, show them that they matter, their emotions, their wants, their needs, all of that really matters in this experience. They don't have to give themselves away. So it really is such an honor to be at 100 episodes and to know that we are communicating with people and showing them what our community is like and what our mission is like without them having to buy into every bit of it. Like, get a nice taste, a nice flavor.
Yes. And I'm so proud of us in this milestone that we have been vulnerable and willing to have the conversation about whatever, which is so indicative of the kind of coaching that we do. It's like, whatever you bring, we'll have the conversation about it so that we can get underneath what's really going on. And for me, when we have just a topic like celebrating milestones or acknowledging milestones, it can go both ways, right? It can go celebration and it can just be, but not just, can also be noticing, man, I've been giving away my power and doing things for other people. I know we just did an episode on people pleasing, and that's not who I am anymore. That's not what I want to be. So a milestone could be I'm setting a boundary and putting myself first, which,
Yeah,
goes against that whole selfish notion. It's like self first rather than selfish because we matter. So it can be on both sides, but it's the recognition that what's going on. Before I was saying yes, now it's like we matter, and so what's going on for us is so important, and that it's okay to put ourselves out there and celebrate or change our mind or do what's right for us. And that's really kind of the bigger milestone to me. It's the consciousness and the recognition of I'm living my life. Look at what's happening. I just hit a new aha or a new revelation or a new milestone. It's like being really conscious and aware. That's pretty fun.
yeah, yeah. So I do want to touch on this celebrating bit. If you've followed along with us or been in one of our programs, you're very aware that we love a celebration. At the Cancer Journey Institute, we do believe that it's essential to celebrate. It's essential to acknowledge these moments and find ways for yourself in which you can be like, yeah, I did it.
I mean, I want to do it with you when you do that. It's so contagious.
Yeah, and it's just it doesn't have to be just birthdays or just holidays, like, it gets to be, like you said, those small moments that feel big to you. Setting a boundary is a huge one in my opinion, and we think that it's so small because you feel like you didn't necessarily achieve anything or another year hasn't passed, enough time hasn't passed, anything like that. If we're going back to the cancer journey, maybe you're on your treatment journey, maybe every time that you finished treatment that day, right? Say you have 10 treatments. At the end of treatment one, you get a little something special. At the end of treatment two, you get something a little special. And that gets to be a celebration ritual for you that you did it. Maybe it sucked. I mean, it probably sucked, but you still did it. Even if you knew you were going to show up and do it, obviously, because you want the best for you, give yourself a little treat. Why not? Why not? It doesn't need to be writing down what you're grateful for at the end of every day, because while that is nice, I personally am not going to lean into that. Like, that's just not going to be for me. I do these like every other week. I have to do this medication, and it's a auto injector shot, and it's really not fun. So to help myself through it, I always give myself a little something to celebrate that I did it after. I also say, I did it, because it's not fun. And I can only imagine what being on a cancer journey and already feeling depleted from that treatment too and going through it. It's a really hard journey. A lot of times people feel like they're losing themselves throughout cancer, like your appearance can change. Energy obviously changes. So much can change for you. Sometimes people change. So for you personally, to celebrate yourself is a gift. Yeah.
Yes, totally a gift. And milestones are whatever we consider a milestone. And I'm hoping that we're encouraging you to listen to the small ones, the medium-sized ones, and the big ones, not just the big ones. But when you said treat yourself, give yourself something, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be, I'm outside and that flower is beautiful. Okay, please don't pick the flowers that you're not supposed to pick. But for me, I have a beautiful bush outside. It's like, I'm bringing that inside the house. And every time I look at that, it's like, yes, there's aliveness to that. There's, yes, that's for me. The acknowledgement that no, I've done something, and it doesn't even have to be doing, but that we're here present and like we're doing life. You were talking about the injection that you give yourself, and I've been there with you, so I know how hard it is, and I want to take it away. I want to like just give it to me, I'll do it for you. And yet you know that you need to do it for yourself. But the bravery of any of this, the courage to do it, the bravery and the courage to go through it and say yes is incredible. And I love the idea of, and after this I'm going to let myself have a cup of hot cocoa, or I'm going to treat myself to that really yummy apple. It doesn't have to be a thing, but it's something that feeds me, like feeds my soul. So it could be, I'm going to go get a foot massage. It's just it's a gift that I give myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like it.
Me too. I kind of just want to like play with like the concrete what we give ourselves. Because it's funny because when you said flowers, I actually was at the grocery store a couple days ago and I was like, you know, I used to have this whole thing about flowers. And I was like, I hate when they die and I don't want them, especially when I, performed Never Bring in Flowers. I'd be like, I don't want some. I was young too. So, I mean, where was the appreciation for flowers? But now I love having flowers. And so I like literally bought myself some flowers and I just like have them around my apartment because I was like, you know what? I really love chrysanthemums. Love, love, love chrysanthemums. So I was like, even if it dies, cycle of life, it's gonna happen anyways. I mean, they were cut and plucked anyways, so I might as well get a chance to enjoy them. They mean something to me. It's not just like getting flowers to get flowers, which is fine too. But this was my gift to me, and it has its own recognition for me. So I agree that is absolutely something that I give myself, and I've recently given myself, and it makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do you give yourself?
And well, it's giving myself, but it's also asking somebody. Because when you were saying that, I was thinking about what do I love and what do I crave and what did I crave? And I craved human connection, but it's as simple as, can you massage my hands? They're sore, and it doesn't have to be hard because sometimes we're extra sensitive during a cancer journey. But I just needed that putting lotion on and just massaging that. When I said foot massage, I went, oh my goodness, I love foot massages. There's something loving about that, but also I know that there's healing properties to that. So I can do it for myself. It's not the same as when people say, well, what can I do for you? My goodness, if I could say, can you please take this lotion and just give me a back rub? My God, a place that I can't reach oftentimes is itchy or probably dry. That's why it's itchy. But it's like, oh, could you just do that? I mean, like, that just feels like love being poured into me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I also think when we ask for things from people, it's kind of a gift to them too because you trust them, you love them. It's like being able to put a little bit of that into their hands. I mean, of course, they can say yes or no, obviously. But like, say someone makes something and you really like what they make, and you're like, I would love to gift that to myself. So, would you be open to making that for me? Maybe I'll give you some money for whatever the exchange is, but you get to enjoy that and so do they. Okay, another concrete one that came to me aside from that too, as you said that one came to mind. Another one that came to mind is like giving yourself a nap when you're really tired.
My goodness.
Like I'm gonna give myself a nap. I did good work today. I deserve a nap or an extra hour of sleep in the morning or something like that because you're like, honestly, I can do it and I deserve it. Little gift you can give yourself. I love nap. Instead of pushing yourself to work harder, it's like, you know what? We've done enough today. We deserve a nap.
Wholeheartedly, 110. I am behind that. One of the things that I would give myself this on those hard days. when I was in treatment, it was like, all I want is to allow myself to have a 2.5 hour nap. That seems like a long time, but that's the number that it took for me to feel like refreshed. I know you're not supposed, well, forget what we're supposed to do. That is what I wish for everybody who's going through their treatment journey. It's like, I give you permission to take a 3 hour, whatever, to take a nap and not set an alarm and just let yourself sleep and you wake up when you wake up. Oh my God, that just feels like what a gift.
Right. Okay. So also what's coming to me as we're like naming these more concrete things is like the things that we want to celebrate are things that we actually really want, but we don't let ourselves have. Like they're often things that we're like, oh no, that's too frivolous, or like, oh no, I was lazy, I don't deserve that, or like there's like things you want, but you tell yourself you can't have, or that like you don't deserve, or anything like that. Like, first of all, yes, you do deserve them. You're on a cancer journey. Like, take a nap. Like, absolutely take a nap. That's not costing anyone anything. I think you can regain those hours. Like, that is such a fair thing to give yourself. And even that, sometimes people are like, oh, I couldn't even dream about that. Why not? Like, give that to yourself. Like, you're on a cancer journey. Come on. When, if not now, when, right? It's like give yourself that little bit of peace, that little bit of joy, and that is exactly what celebrating your milestones feels like to me. Like give yourself the things that you know you want because they're all the concrete things that are sitting in your mind that you could have, but for some reason you have some excuse why you shouldn't have them. What if you
Right.
didn't have the
Well,
excuse?
I made up a story that if I asked somebody other than my family, okay, can't even ask my family, other than my husband and you, and I'd say, can you please massage my feet, other than paying for somebody to do it? My mind is going, ooh, who wants to touch my feet? That may not be okay for them. And so I get to ask, and they can say no, and I don't have to be attached to it. That is like the key there. But when you're talking about these concrete things, and it's like we get in our own way of even asking for it. Like I can get into my own way of not taking a nap because it's like, no, then I won't be able to sleep at night. I need to be more productive. Whatever it is, and that just gets in the way.
I feel so like passionate about that. I love that you said that we get in our own way. Like that's the best way to put it. But like, it's so true, and that's often why we don't let ourselves have that celebration, big or small. You know, if we do give ourselves a rather big celebration, it's like, "Oh, I have to deserve it, and I have to achieve all this stuff before I get there." Like, no, you don't have to. You could buy a birthday cake any day of the week if you want it. If that's how you wanna celebrate, why not? Give yourself some cake, you're on a cancer journey. Come on. Oh, I kinda think that's my takeaway, honestly. It's just like, you're on a cancer journey. Celebrate the little things. Give yourself the things you're the one holding yourself back from. Just let yourself have it.
Yeah, and you just spurred a takeaway for me is like, what if we celebrated ourselves every day, like a little something,
Right.
instead of okay, yeah, you can say, I don't know, the big trip for a major celebration, like a big anniversary, whatever. But why not something for ourselves every day on a cancer journey, after your cancer journey, every day? It's like, why not? I really love that. I think I should add that to, the list of for 2026. It's like an exercise and putting myself first. I invite all of you to try that on. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say if you do choose that. Okay. Your Pesh.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's okay. I feel like I had a little additional for my own takeaway, and it's more that, like, if we're not celebrating or letting ourselves have something nice, like, every day, then are we forcing ourselves to suffer every day? Why are we doing that? You don't deserve the bare minimum. You deserve so much more than that. So, giving it to yourself first invites more of that into your life. You get to have everything you want. So, my Pesh, physically, I am a 4.4. Emotionally, I'm a 4.75, spirit's a 4.5, and hope is a 4.35. And my word is, I don't know how to explain it. Radiating. No, it's more like effervescent.
I could feel it. I have an addition to my takeaway too. It's like, why do we not buy the tea that we want? Is it because it's $1 more or $3 more? It's like, but if we're going to enjoy it more because it's the one that we really want, why can't we have that? My addition is treat yourself how you would somebody that you really love. And my PESH is physically 4.5, emotionally 4.55. My spirit 4.75. My hope is 4.6. And my word is permission. I love that word. I know I use it a lot, but it's like, yay, permission.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next week with a new episode.
Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, you're more powerful than you realize.